Hey guys, welcome to Melanin United. On this video, we're going to talk about Yoweri Museveni, President of Uganda's response to the European Union resolution about their their oil and gas pipeline. Remember, I made a video about this, I think, a week and something ago, when, because there's a pipeline, oil pipeline that Tanzania and Uganda have cooperated together to install, right? They're gonna start doing that process 2023. Remember, I told you how the Europeans, were complaining about climate change, going green, fossil fuels, blah blah blah. Even though they're the biggest hypocrites of fossil fuel, carbon emission, and all that type of stuff. So and we're talking about how the Europeans are trying to interfere in Uganda's politics, right? Interfere in our internal affairs. So yesterday, I watched press conference by Museveni, president of Uganda. He was replying to the resolution and stuff. And there's a lot of reporters there. There's a lot of white journalists, white reporters, Chinese reporters, Indian reporters. Because Uganda, it's diverse, right? Like mostly black people, of course, but there's since a long time ago, the Europeans put a whole bunch of Indians in Uganda, right, to help them take over. Because when they came to Africa, like they did a whole lot of shit. Like they didn't just take over by themselves. They imported people too, like different races too, to help control us. So anyways, yeah, there's all these reported. So Uganda has a lot of Indians. It has a few Chinese now. A lot more Chinese are coming, and of course the Europeans are there. So some of them are from Europe, from China, right, for the media and stuff. But some of them live in Uganda, right, and so-called citizens. But we know they're doing inside work for their countries, right? For Europe and China and all that type of stuff. So yesterday and a week and like 2 weeks ago, the European Union had a resolution, like, in the European Union Parliament, saying like, oh, like they're trying to protest Uganda and Tanzania's oil pipeline because remember they don't want us to do any. They don't want us to use any of our natural resources, our mineral resources, to benefit us unless they're funding it or unless it's their project. But no, we're funding most of it, and it's our project, so that's gonna benefit the people of Tanzania, Uganda, and people in that region, right? Oil pipeline. So Museveni was talking yesterday, and what he said, he blasted them. He blasted on the West. He showed them what's up. Like he put them in their place. He said, the thing about you Europeans, the European parliaments, they don't they're always interfering. They're so arrogant. They think they know everything, and that's a problem with them. Just so arrogant, shallow, shameful, disgusting behaviors by them, and they think they know everything and can tell everyone to do this, do that, do this. He said, "This is Uganda, though. How are you gonna tell?" And like in the European Parliament resolution, it was a bunch of younger female politicians, white female politicians, and Museveni's like, "You young girls think you can lecture me what to do about Uganda? Look how old he is, and that's Uganda. They don't know nothing about Uganda." So he's just calling them arrogant and shallow and stuff like that. And he said the project is going to continue as scheduled. So that's something they're not gonna like. They're trying to stop the project. They wanted it to completely stop it, but if they can't, they tried to say, what did they say? They said, or at least take 1 year to negotiate more or figure out more of all the stuff. Take 1 year. They want to say take 1 year because if you're taking a year, then that's a whole year for them to think about. Okay, how do we destabilize Uganda? So then, how do we cause problems? So then we can distract them from that pipeline from not using it. So we're gonna send in or fund LGBTQ people there to protest and say they're getting treated bad, or we're gonna fund a rival politician that's running for president and say human rights are being violated and politicians and opponents are being quieted and all that stuff. Nah, don't give them a year. So it's great that Museveni said the project will start. It'll start this year. So even if they got a couple of French company, like they got a French company and Chinese company that's helping the project, but it's still majority funded by Uganda and Tanzania, so it's our project, right? But those oil companies are helping and stuff. So And the European unions are complaining. So if that French company pulls out from their contract, Museveni said he's just gonna call someone else. Chinese pull out, he'll just call someone else. The project will be resumed. No waiting 1 year to think about it so you guys can destabilize it. No stopping the project. No nothing. It's continuing. Stop trying to interfere in our internal affairs and stifle and stop our growth. And Museveni showed you guys who's boss. That's how we have to react. Because in the past, and even sometimes right now, like when the European unions or the European individual European countries say something or have a problem with an African leader doing a project in their own country, I thought we're sovereign, right? We're doing a project or something in our own country, then the European Union or European country or America says something, then a lot of times the African leaders will rethink about the project or like structure it different or completely stop it. Nah, that's not their country. They have no business into interfering in our affairs. So it's amazing what Ugandan's president Yoweri Museveni said. I love it. Continuing with the schedule and how arrogant and shallow these people are, thinking they can tell you what's best for your country. Hell no. Just let them keep crying and let them keep complaining like a bunch of flies that they are. Alright guys, thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe.